Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Geraldine. If this is your first time here, I have a preschool program in my home where I care for 6 little ones under the age of 5, and I create content to help other early childhood professionals working from their home create fun and engaging activities for your little one. So if you have a home daycare, make sure that you smash that alert button and the subscription button and the like button and all the buttons, because you're definitely going to want to get more content from my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about process-based art, which is what we do a lot of in our studio. Most of our art activities focus on a process over a product, and the reason why that's important is because children at this age are learning about processes. So one of the processes that we're focusing on this week is color transformation. I've noticed that my kids have been asking a lot of questions about which colors make which colors. We have done a lot of work around mixing colors and a lot of painting going on in our studio. Painting is available pretty much every day for these guys. And there's still some confusion about which colors make which colors. So I thought we would create a color mixing book, well, a color mixing lab, and then that's gonna create a book for our classroom. I love to use photography as a part of my teaching tools because the kids are far more interested in photographs of themselves doing an activity, and when you photograph the process of them doing the activity, it just sticks. So that's what we're going to be working on. We're working on a color mixing lab and creating a photo book at the end of the color mixing lab to help solidify what we learned as we were working. So yesterday we were working on mixing up green paint. We have a couple different shades of green paint. So step one of this project is going to be creating the paint, and then we're going to also look at different variations of the shades. We're going to talk about how these shades relate to real life things in our environment, and we're going to work on naming some of the shades. That's going to be what we're going to do later on, talking about how these different colors were made and how different colors and shades are a part of our everyday world. So I'm going to share some of the things that I'm using with the kids in order to create this activity. If you wanted to create something like this in your program, the wonderful thing about it is that it's super easy. I love process-based art because it focuses on allowing me to be able to spend time with the kids and help them work on just understanding, making observations and discovering things for themselves. So we've been working on the color mixing lab. Yesterday we did the green. Today we're going to be making the color orange. And some of the materials that I have for this activity, super easy, super cheap and affordable. These are from the dollar store. You get two these are just little condiment containers. These things are great for all sorts of sensory activities, but in this specific activity, I'm going to be using it to make sure that the kids are having some portion control, because, you know, kids can really go to town squeezing out all the paint. So if you have the big gallon size containers of paint, I order mine from Discount School Supply. Like every other year, I have to buy like a whole new big batch of paint. I had gotten the little squirt things that go in the top of the container. Those things suck, guys. Don't bother. Don't waste your money. Just keep the lid on your paint and get these little portion control containers, because those just like dry up and they get lumpy, and it's a whole thing to try and unclog them. Putting your paint or your glue, for instance, in these little containers here, much better idea. So pick these up at the dollar store. The next thing that I have, so for my color mixing lab, I picked up these condiment containers. They're 2-ounce condiment containers. You get 200 of them, and they have a little lid on them. What I love about these little containers is obviously they're small. So my kids know you each get one container. Once you fill up the container, that's it. You have to use that paint before you can have more paint. Otherwise, they would just love to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And I do make sure to give them the opportunity to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze with these kinds of containers in the water table. The way that I set up my outdoor art studio is that we have the paint in one area, and then I have 2 soapy bins full of water so that the kids can rinse themselves off as they want to, because a lot of times when they're painting, they'll be like, oh, my hands are messy, where they might get paint on their clothes or in their hair. Then they have the option to go right over to the rinsing station, rinse out their brushes, rinse out their, whatever. Or they can even have these other containers, fill up the containers, squirt out the colored water, but not waste too much of my paint. because, you know, paint's expensive. So anyways, these little 2-ounce containers are great for that. If you wanted a more affordable situation, if you're thinking, wow, 200 of these for $20, my kids are going to blow right through those, a more affordable solution would be these little Dixie cups. Now we use a lot of these Dixie cups as well. We use these for pretty much any kind of art supply. You can put anything you want in there. You can put googly eyes, whatever, anything that you want to have like a little bit of portion control over. Sometimes I let my kids go to town on the supplies. Other times I do a little bit of portion control if it's just, I'm not really sure if they're going to be just like dumping things and then scrambling up all of the art supplies. So then I have to sort them out so that we can use them again. But these are great. These little containers, you get like 1,000 of them for like $10 or whatever at Costco. That's not an actual amount, but you know, you can pick these up at Costco. I love them because they're obviously paper, so they're a lot more biodegradable, a lot more environmentally friendly, and they're more affordable. But for this color mixing project, I wanted to be able to see through the container and have a lid on it so we could preserve the paint and we could look at all the different paint colors that we created at the end of this project. So I went with these little containers here. Another thing that you can do, obviously, are these little clear glass containers from baby food jars. I don't currently have any babies in my program, so it wasn't easy for me to come across these, but if you have them, or you even like the plastic containers with the lids, that might work for you. Just a few ideas for you with your project. So what my kids are going to be doing is they're going to be creating their own colors here, and we're going to create, today we're going to create orange, and then at the end of it we're going to review all of the colors that we created. So we're going to be creating orange, green, and purple from our primary colors. And then we're also going to be turning these colors into pastels by adding a little bit of white where the kids can add to each of their own color pots here. So anyways, I hope you had fun. I hope you found this to be interesting. I'd love to hear about your color mixing experimentation with your little one. If you have any questions about color mixing or creating a color mixing lab, I'd love to hear from you. Make sure that you drop a line below, and thanks for stopping by.